Good evening, everyone, and welcome to EBTV's coverage of our first East Brunswick High School Girls Gymnastic Meet. My name is Frank Noppenberger, filling in for Jimmy Allender, and with me is our expert, former coach Lisa Scarano. Today's match is against Piscataway. It's our first event of the year, and at the same time, it's senior night. And as we look out there, we'll see that our seniors are being honored. Our seniors being honored are Seema Singh and her parents who aren't here are Arun and Prashipa. Uh, Vered Sherman is also a senior co-captain, and we thank her and congratulate her. And our manager, that's the shy-looking young man walking around, is Kevin Hendricks, who's been a real help to our gymnastic team. And on the behalf of the athletic department, we really appreciate everything he's done for us because he's a real asset. And Coach Scarano will certainly attest to that. What's it like to have someone out there to
Oh,
help
you
out with?
definitely need a manager like Kevin, and he's been doing this for 3 years, and I believe he's one of the only male managers for gymnastics team in the state. He does a real nice job with the coach.
Okay, we're going to have the singing of the national anthem by Tune for our gymnasts.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red gleam but the bursting air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Very good, girls. Lisa, I'm going to ask you a lot of novice questions so you
That's
can help
okay.
our audience and myself out with all the questions.
That's what I'm here for.
The first event is the vault.
First event's the vault. The girls are going to get ready in a minute. East Brunswick will go first on the vault, and then they'll alternate an East Brunswick gymnast, then a Piscataway gymnast, until 5 from each team have competed.
Is there an advantage of one team performing first versus not going or going second?
Well, you want to set up so that your home team has last on the floor exercise. That's the ideal. You want your home team to have last. It's always just been something that gets the crowd into it, and it's nice to do. So usually the home team will go first on the vault and first on the balance beam, and your visiting team will go first on the uneven bars and the floor.
So it's something like in baseball being up last.
Exactly.
So they know if they want to
Right, they know what score they could beat, if they need to put a more difficult trick in to
Right.
try and get a higher score.
So there is a lot more strategy involved in gymnastics than most people think. I mean, you're looking at scores, and you pretty much know what you can score and what they have.
Absolutely.
So the kid would tone down a skill
A
or
routine,
a trick.
right. And it's also, looking at what they do ahead of you, you know what you have to do to beat them. If they've fallen a few times on beam, you know that you have to be clean to beat them. Okay, so we have 2 judges who are over by the vault. And it's going to be okay, our first up is Maria Delgado from East Brunswick. Our coach over there is Coach Renee Stoop. This is her first year at East Brunswick.
Renee comes to us from Piscataway. She's a first-year teacher. She's also teaching up bound, and she's real excited to be coaching with us.
Yeah, she's doing a nice job with the girls, too. They really love having her here. This is Maria Delgado, and that is a handspring with a half off. Nicely done. On the vault, you're looking for certain things to make a clean vault. You have a pre-flight, which is anything you do from hitting the springboard onto the horse. Then you have your contact phase, which is when you're actually touching the horse. Then you have your after flight, and that's anything that happens after you leave the horse. So those are the 3 elements of a vault that the judges are looking to take deductions from.
How difficult is it to be a judge? I mean, you've got to watch all of this at the same time, or is it through experience you get to recognize it?
Well, you have to go to a class in it. Here's her second vault, Maria's, and again, it's a handspring with a half on. Little step on the landing. They're going to deduct a 10th or 2 on each step that she takes. Coach Renee Stube giving her a nice hug afterwards. Nice job from Maria. As I said, you have to go to a class. You have to learn the scoring. There's some shorthand involved in writing down quickly the routines that you're seeing, and you have to get hours of practice in doing it.
You've been involved in gymnastics, and we'll get into your career as an athlete and a coach later, but can they determine often the winning and losing?
I don't know about the determining the winning and losing, but they certainly can determine a couple of points here or there. Okay, that gymnast was from Piscataway. That was Melanie Duziak.
And you also...
I'm sorry, that was Michelle Berg.
And
okay, here's Michelle's second vault, and that is a squat. And Michelle is a beginner gymnast, but it's a nice for what she did. She did it very well.
And again, you have your better gymnast jumping last or
performing last. You generally set up your lineup where your more inexperienced vaulters are going to go first, and then you build up to your best vault, which would be the end.
Okay, I got one more question. We'll wait
Sure.
after this.
Okay, the judges are giving 2 scores, and you take the average of the 2 scores. And this second vaulter is from East Brunswick, and this is Vered Sherman. She is a senior and one of our captains.
As I look into the practice, she's a real leader too, so I'm glad that she was elected or selected as a captain, because she certainly has a lot of leadership qualities out there, and I'm sure that's part of the reason for our success.
Absolutely. Now you're looking for speed on the runway. This is a nice run into the springboard, and that's a handspring with a half. Again, step on the landing, but fairly clean vault. Her legs come apart a little bit. As I said, you're looking for what she's doing. Legs need to be together, knees need to be straight, toes are pointed, no step on the landing. So you really want to fight for those landings, because if you don't, it could come down to that at the end of a close meet, who really tries to stick your landings.
Right.
And this is Vered's second vault.
And that's all practice.
It's all practice, repetition.
Repetition.
Absolutely. It's the name of the game in gymnastics. Good, strong run, handspring again with a half. And that was a big step on the landing. So her first vault might have been a little better. But Vered's looking to try and go to college in New Jersey or Rutgers to stay in state.
Good.
Should be nice.
Athletes, especially like in football, they're wearing these rubber gloves, and I think that assists with the catching of the ball. Can a girl wear some sort of a slipper with a rubberized bottom to stop that sliding?
Well, you're allowed to wear gymnastics shoes or barefoot. That's the only thing that's legal in gymnastics.
And the surface of the shoe?
It has a little rough edge to it, but not to the point where it would help you. Your momentum is what's carrying you to take those steps. Vered's vault was a good score. That was an 8.45. You're averaging in 2 scores. And this is a Piscataway second gymnast, Melanie Duziak, and that is a handspring vault with a pretty hard fall on the landing. Okay, she needs to really try and explode off that horse, and the quicker you get on, the quicker you need to get off.
Well, that takes a lot of courage.
It does.
To do any skill off of that springboard.
Absolutely.
I mean, whenever my feet are off the ground, I'm already losing my kinesthetic awareness. So I could not imagine what these kids are doing as they're doing handsprings off of that.
I know, I give them a lot of credit. But, you know, they've grown up doing this. They've been doing it since they were young. As we talked about before, repetition is the key here. And it'd be nice to see Melanie do a little better vault here. I'm sure her coach has given her some pointers, and let's hope for a second vault that's a little better. She needs to build up a little more speed coming into that springboard and push off, and much better. Okay, she got a much better pop off the horse.
Okay, if it looks like East Brunswick's going to win by a big score, can they change the lineup for the last event, which is the Floor X?
You can, in the event of an injury, you can change up to 5 minutes before the event.
Right.
So,
but no other time.
No.
So if you know, you're in the beginning of the year, you're not sure how the other team's going to
Right.
score.
Right.
And then you put your best lineup in. Now you see that it's going to be a lopsided score. You still can't substitute like you could in football or basketball.
No, only in injuries here. That was a good score for Melanie. She did a nice handspring. This is our third gymnast. This is Elise Conjuista. Nice vault. Nice distance coming off the horse. That was a handspring with a full.
You know what I've noticed, Lisa, over the years in gymnastics, the camaraderie between teams and the sportsmanship. And I guess because they all work out in the same club and whatever.
Well, that's what tend to happens is there's a couple of clubs in the area that all the girls go to, and they know each other. They compete with each other all year long. They're on the same teams, and they become friends. And here's her second vault, and that's again handspring with a full twist, and that's a nice vault. You're looking to get as far away from the horse as you can, and height and distance away from the horse. And you can see where she landed that vault. It was a nice position. So the girls do become friends. They compete with each other, they compete against each other, and then they get onto the high school, and they enjoy when they meet up with each other and seeing each other again.
Right.
And there is a camaraderie in gymnastics.
Is it part of the thing that you have to hug the coach after every
Yeah,
event? That's part of it, huh?
There's two things I always say about gymnastics. You
Yeah.
hug the coaches, and guarantee there's a crier at every meet.
Ah.
You always have to have somebody crying. And that was a nice score from Elise. It's an 8-6. And she should be happy with that. And here's Piscataway's next gymnast. That was Tabitha Lay with a handspring. And if you notice that her legs came apart a little bit, I'm sure that her coach is going to tell her to get back there and squeeze those legs so that there's no separation. Piscataway is coming into this meet averaging around 90 points, so they're a good team in the GMC.
And the Bears are averaging about?
Bears are averaging in the hundreds. They've had 103 already this year. Their record coming in is 5-1. Here is Tabitha Lay's second vault. Let's see how she does here. And it's a half on. Okay. Not a bad vault. East Brunswick, as I said, is averaging. They've had 103. They're averaging in the hundreds. Their only loss has come from Bishop R, which is a top-ranked team in the state. I believe they are ranked 5th in the state, 6th in the state.
Well, we're up there, too. What are
We are up there. We're in 11th in the state right now.
Well, it'll be interesting at the GMCs because for 2 years we kind of went in as a little bit of an underdog and was able to come out on top.
Yeah, I was glad that they changed that rule, that at the GMC tournament that there's a team competition awarded,
Well,
team score.
Well, thank you.
You did that, didn't you?
Well, I think
you pushed for that. Handspring with a full, and that was Lynn Kersner.
you and I discussed that way back when you were coaching, and it just made sense. Let the kids compete for a head-to-head,
Absolutely.
and then have a tournament.
And a tournament, right. So at that meet, they're crowned individual GMC champions and also a team champion.
Right.
And it's nice because we used to, when I was coaching, it was determined by head-to-head meets along the year. And if you had a couple girls out for one meet, you could technically lose the GMC title
Right.
with a bad meet. And that's a half on, half off. Nice vault from Lynn.
I think it's like, you know, the wild card in baseball or the other playoffs, it keeps it still interesting. I mean, if you lost to a team head-to-head by a tenth of a point, now you got another shot at them at the GMC championships.
Right. It does make it interesting, and it keeps the excitement building all year to the GMC tournament.
Yeah.
And then from there, you have your sectionals and your states. And I believe East Brunswick should qualify as a team for the sectional. Their scores have been good enough where they will get in as one of the 6 teams.
Yeah, I think.
This is Heather Sari from Piscataway. And that's a half on with a half off. And she needs to try and get a little bit more distance away from the horse.
Lisa, you have a kid who's a real good athlete, and she comes to you as a freshman. She says, I want to go out for gymnastics, but never went to a club and just did a couple forward rolls in phys ed class or whatever. Does she have a shot without doing it all year round of being a good high school gymnast?
No. Unfortunately, starting at that late age, she doesn't have a shot at being a good high school gymnast. She could be on the team, compete in a few of the JV meets at her own level. We do have a novice tournament that I believe it's still at South Brunswick.
Well,
I'd have to check.
It's at South Plainfield this
South
year.
Plainfield,
We were
okay.
struggling with sites this year. As a matter of fact, remember you volunteered to help run it in a
Oh, I
new
did.
gym.
That's
yes.
right, I did.
You didn't know you did.
I said yes, too.
And we weren't quite sure if ours would be ready in time, so that's why South Plainfield stepped up and volunteered to take it.
Oh, that's good. So at a meet like that, that's perfect for somebody who's a novice, who's new to gymnastics, but still wants to be involved in a team and be around the sport.
Right.
And this is Diana Coster from East Brunswick, who's our best all-around gymnast right now. The vault she just did was called a Sukahara, and that was an excellent vault. It's a round off onto the horse with a backflip off of the horse, and that is one of the higher level skills that you'll see in high school gymnastics.
Is Diane the type of? Is she at the level of scholarship yet?
Yes, she is I believe a level 9 gymnast, which I know that she could compete in colleges. She could receive a scholarship. She's one of the top gymnasts in the county, and with a vault like this, she's going to do here again, another Sukahara. Okay, big step on the landing, which she's got nice power. That vault could be one of the top in the state right now. So she has a chance at doing very well at sectionals, doing very well at states.
Good.
And I believe she's only a sophomore, so she's got a couple years ahead of her here to
get
set some records and to get some more notoriety in the state. And
speaking of records, you passed me that note to remind everyone how you coached that kid into the perfect 10 a few years ago.
I did. And here comes our Piscataway gymnast, and that was Diana Wu, who is Piscataway's best all-around gymnast right now. And that was a handspring with a half. Yes, that's matter of fact.
Now, what skill or what was her?
The perfect 10, the first ever in New Jersey, came on the vault. It was a front handspring with a front flip, and it happened at a sectional meet, which made it even more exciting. And the gymnast was Jackie Haft, and she recorded the first perfect 10 ever in New Jersey. And we've had 2 since then, and that was Diana Wu's second vault. It was an exciting moment. Probably my most exciting as a coach in gymnastics, without question. And
obviously, the harder the skill, the easier it is to get a 10 if there's such a.
Well, it has to be worth a 10.
Right.
Like the value of the skill has to be coming out of a 10. Right. Now, if you can do a lower level skill perfect, but it wouldn't be worth 10 points.
Is exactly what I was trying to ask.
Okay, well,
like
I read your mind.
I was going to go do like a somersault.
And you could have done it the best ever, but it's not worth the 10.
Get my 10, okay.
Maybe a 9, but not a 10. Okay, now they have finished the vault, and the scoring in gymnastics is they have each put up five vaults, and now we're going to take the top 3 scores from each school, and we'll come up with an event total. So as soon as the scorekeepers have that for us, we will give that to you. Okay. And they're getting set up over at the uneven bars.
I got a couple more questions for you. Gymnastics, the gym, not the gyms itself, but the kids and the training. Has that changed since you've been a high school athlete to coaching here at East Brunswick and now?
Well, as a high school gymnast for myself growing up in New York, I was a 3-sport athlete. So I was one of the few who did gymnastics during the gymnastics season, then played volleyball during the volleyball season, and then played lacrosse. And back then you had gymnasts who could do that, but the level of competition has grown to the point where now you can't be a 3-sport athlete or a 2-sport athlete. You need to concentrate fully on gymnastics all year round. And the Piscataway gymnast is started on the uneven bars. This is Jessica Peranzuk. Okay, on the bars, this event, all of Piscataway will be going first, and then all of East Brunswick will be going. It's called block scoring, and it's only done on the uneven bars.
And we do that because
We do that because the bars have to be set in and out, and usually each team works at their own settings. So we do all of
Right.
one team first.
I was just past the score after the vault, and I'll give you the honors.
Okay, East Brunswick has a score of 26.6, and Piscataway a score of 23.75.
Now that's like a 3-point difference. Is that a lot in gymnastics?
Yeah, and I have a feeling it's going to be building just by watching East Brunswick's warm up. They are a very strong team, and you know, as it builds up to 3 to 5 points, 5 points, it's hard to overcome.
Lise, in gymnastics, strength or flexibility of equal importance, or one more important than the other?
Both important, both of equal importance.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
would-
you
would-
really, the flexibility you need in every aspect of it, strength. You know, they're two key elements in being a gymnast. Okay, this is our second Piscataway gymnast here. This is Tabitha Lay. Now, on the uneven bars, you're looking to keep moving. You want a flowing routine with no stops. Every time you come to a stop, you're receiving a deduction. Or every time you take an extra swing, you receive a deduction.
Well, how does the judge know if you're just swinging for?
They know. The event requirements, you need to have a turn, a twist. You need to have saltos. I'll look it up exactly here and give it to you.
That's what you put on your French fries, isn't it?
That's salsa.
Oh.
You need to have circling and swinging moves. You need to have a regrasp, which is where you leave the bar with both hands and then grab it again. So you have to have some type of flight showing. You need to have a twist or a salto. You need to have 2 skills on each of the bars. You have a lower bar and a top bar, a high bar. So you have to have 2 on each bar. You have to have a kip, which I'll show you what a kip is.
I
when
know
the
what a
girls-
kip is.
There you go.
How about that?
Well, we're a former phys ed teacher,
Yeah.
should know what a kip is. And a handstand.
Well, that was my specialty, as a matter of fact. One-handed.
Oh, you and Don Weeder
Yeah,
taught you
Don,
everything you
yep.
knew. Okay, here's her kip starting the routine. And this gymnast is Heather Seri from Piscataway. That's called an uprise. And a long hang kip into a second long hang kip, into her flyaway dismount, and a step on the landing. But that was a nice routine.
If someone were to try a new skill that no one has ever seen before, how could you get credit for that? I want to swing with my teeth on the bar and swinging around and around. I mean,
Oh boy. Well, I don't even know if I can fake an answer on this, Nop.
well,
Well,
I mean,
I know that when you invent in the higher level, in the Olympic level, they
Right.
do invent moves and name them after themselves.
Correct.
The
That's
vault
what I was
that
getting
Diana
at.
Coster did, if you remember her
The
vault, that
Isha.
was called the Tashikar. That is invented after a Japanese gymnast.
right.
So once you have developed it, I believe you petitioned to have it named after you.
Well,
And
you have to be. I don't care what it's named. They can call it a Noppenberger if they want. But my point is, you petition to have it included.
no, you petitioned to have it included, and then
Right.
the federation will determine whether or not it's worthy to be included into the code of points, your
And when-
point system.
And when would they do that determination? In warm-ups or?
I'm not sure. I don't want to give you the wrong
Yeah,
answer
you
on
should
that.
have just make it up like I
All right.
do.
Yes. In warm-ups. This is Diana Wu, Piscataway's best all-around. Okay, that's a long hand kip. And a long hand kip into a flyaway dismount. And just a little step on the landing. What Piscataway is doing, they're doing very well. They're not really performing the higher level skills. And that was the last of Piscataway's gymnasts. So what they've done, they're averaging in the 6s on bars. I've always thought that bars were the most challenging event. So much strength is involved in doing a good routine. And now East Brunswick's going to be getting ready to do their routines.
Gymnastics, maybe more than any other sport, teaches a lot of poise for the kids.
Absolutely. Poise and self-confidence.
Well, because you're up there alone performing. It's like wrestling. Everyone's watching you.
Right, right.
At least with wrestling, you could say, well, the other guy, you know, he tricked me into a move or he's stronger. In gymnastics, you're up there on the bar or the beam or the floor and you're all alone. It's got to teach a lot of poise and self-confidence. And
absolutely. You know, it's a great activity. I truly believe all little kids should be involved in gymnastics at a lower level, and it's such a great sport to teach so much body control. Okay, this is Vered Sherman, our senior captain, performing on the uneven bars. East Brunswick looks so nice in their leotards this year, that dark green and white.
yeah, you picked them out.
Yes,
we know.
I did.
We know.
That's a long hand kip. Long hand kip into a layout flyaway with a stuck landing. Nice landing. Good job from Vered.
How much of film evaluation is important in gymnastics? Do the kids get a lot of watching themselves, or is it more of just a repetition?
Repetition's important, but it's also important to see where your mistakes are and what you look like performing out there. Most of these gymnasts, when they go, when they perform, they visualize what they want to look like before they perform the event or the routine.
Is there a lot of taping in clubs and practices?
More taping in clubs than at the high school level. They will tape each routine, they will tape each skill and look at it, go back, do it better, tape it again. High school doesn't do as much, but it's a great teaching tool to use.
I think the number of teams in the state has declined, Lise. You got any reason why? Is that the specialty thing we were talking about?
It's the specialties really hurts high school gymnastics. I get frustrated when I hear of really good club gymnasts not coming out for the high school team, and I know that East Brunswick has somebody not competing this year because of a conflict with a club.
And she had a little bit of an injury too, I think. It was probably a combination.
Probably a combination. This is Seema Singh, who's also our senior captain.
Do you know her in class?
Yes, I do.
What a sweet kid,
Sweetheart. She wants to go to the University of Chicago, and she wants to be able to compete in gymnastics and a flyaway. She is lovely to have in class. One of those student athletes who are a pleasure to coach, pleasure to teach, always there helping.
Now, I know this is only your opinion, but can she compete at University of Chicago?
That's a pretty good gymnastics school. I know that she wants to go there, but as a gymnast, I'm not quite sure that she could make, the higher level there. But it'd be nice for her to try. Give her a lot of credit for trying.
The older they get, the harder it is to perform because I guess, bodies change.
Your bodies take a toll too. Repetition destroys the body, especially in gymnastics. There's so much pounding going on in gymnastics on the joints.
Years ago when I was coaching, it used to be like, they didn't believe in days off. It makes you soft. Water was bad for you and all that. Are gymnasts realizing that the body needs to rest and to recover?
You need time to recuperate, to heal, and come back strong. All right, this gymnast coming up is Felicia Macero. She's a freshman, and she's been injured. This is her first meet back from an ankle injury. She's only competing in one event today, but she is good. She's got nice form. If you see those legs, they are straight and together. She's Got a nice long line. Right here she's doing what we call a giant. That is a full handstand on the bar, 2 giants into a flyaway, layout flyaway. That's considered one of the higher level skilled routines that you'll see in the high school level. Anytime you see your giants, those swinging handstands, that's a gymnast who is at a higher level.
Now, my fear when they do that in practice in the meets is their feet hitting that bar.
It's happened. It has happened.
You have to bend at the knees then, or is it not? Or is it an illusion and it's?
They're not really bending. If you could, the bars are as far apart as they can.
But
they bend just a tiny bit at the waist. Will get them through the bar, but then they need to straighten back out
but if they
as
don't,
they're coming around.
and if they don't bend, they'll hit.
They will.
Ooh.
Yes. I always feared more the hands flying off the bar. That always, as a coach.
Well, thanks. Give me something else to worry about.
Okay. That always bothered me. This is Diana Costa coming up. Oh, no, it's Lynn Kurzer. Sorry, this is Lynn Kurzer coming up.
I guess what helps with the flow of a meet too is the judges. You need judges that
You
are.
need good
pretty
judges, and we do have 2 good judges here. They set the tone for a meet. If the judging is slow, a meet can go over 2 hours. And that's what gets frustrating for our fans who are here. We have actually a nice looking crowd here in
Yeah,
East
we
Brunswick,
do.
which is nice. We don't get a lot of fans, and I encourage you to come out because this is a highly skilled team, one of the higher skilled teams around. It'd be nice to have more people come and see them. This is Lynn Kurzner. And that's an uprise. 2 uprises. And into a flyaway. Nice routine, kept it moving, no breaks, no major flaws. Nice hug from Coach Renee Stoop.
Well, that's important.
Yes, it is. You know, Coach Stoop, when I was coaching here, was a outstanding gymnast at Piscataway High School, the team she's coaching against today.
When I interviewed her, she spoke very highly of you and of our teams. As a matter of fact, she told us, who was competing and, started talking about routines.
Yeah, she was a great gymnast. Unfortunately, she had a severe ankle injury back then and always seemed to get hurt right before the sectional meets, but she was outstanding. And I'm glad that we have hired her in our district because she seems like a wonderful addition, not only to gymnastics, but I know that she's loving teaching over at Bound Monroe.
Principal loves her there. The
Good.
kids love her.
Good. I'm sure the little 3rd graders love having her. The first 2 events in gymnastics are much quicker than the second 2. Vault and bars move quickly. Meets tend to slow down as we get to the balance beam and floor exercise because they're longer routines.
What's your favorite to watch?
To watch, I've always loved the floor exercise. I like the excitement, of the mix of the dance and the tumbling, and I like to see the all-around athlete.
Yeah, I think most people would
Most
agree.
people,
Well, with the
yeah.
music
The
and the
music
dance.
helps, sure. Most nerve-wracking, obviously, would be the balance beam. And this is Diana Coster getting ready to perform.
Why would she enter from that side?
She's using the springboard. She's using, the springboard. If you can see it, she's going to be jumping onto it, entering from the rear. You can start a routine on either side using either bar, high or low. She's chosen to do from the high bar, and they'll move the springboard away for precaution. And she's moving very well on the bar so far. It's a free hip hand into 2 giants here. Just a tiny bit more leg stretch into a flyaway with a full twist and a nice landing.
Yeah, I would say the landing was pretty good.
Absolutely.
What's that expression? They hit it or
Stuck it.
Stuck it, hit it. Whatever.
Close. And that's the end of the first 2 events. So we're at halftime here. We're going to get a halftime score in a minute. And East Brunswick looks to be dominating this meet right now.
They call it halftime?
No.
Oh, you just trying to be funny. Okay.
Absolutely.
Say,
But it is after 2 events.
Why wouldn't they allow East Brunswick to now substitute a kid if we pretty much think that maybe we're going to win this meet? Somewhere along the line, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but if there's an injury, they would pull
Yeah.
somebody out right now.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
think maybe you can keep more kids involved and get,
Yeah.
if those rules were changed.
I know that Coach Stoop is trying to get as many girls she can into this meet because she knew that it wasn't going to be one where it was really going to come down to the wire. So she was trying to get in some of the JV girls.
We talked briefly about the judges and their responsibility and how difficult it is and how maybe they could change the outcome of a meet. Can the crowd influence the judge?
I don't think that in gymnastics there's no yelling involved. It isn't as if on a soccer sideline you hear people yelling, and the judges have it all in front of them, everything, the point value system, and they just take their deductions from what they saw, and they post the score, and that was a very good score from Diana, and that's it. That's the end of it. The only time that something could be changed would be at the end of the meet or after each event if the coach felt that the judges missed something or they missed what value a certain trick had, then they could talk to the judges, and changes have been made.
Sometimes would they consult with one another?
Absolutely.
You never want to get into judging?
Well, when I gave up the coaching, for having my children, I thought about getting back into it. But again, you're putting a lot of time in, and once I became a mom, that
Right.
was my focus.
I know there's not many out there, and there's not many good ones out there either.
No, I know they are hurting for judges.
And they'd probably go and have you 5 days a week.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. This is Seema Singh, who's up on the balance beam for East Brunswick. Now, on the balance beam, you have to show a couple of event requirements. What she just did was a scale, which is holding that position, which you need. You need a dance, twist, or turn. You need jumps. You need a dance series, which is connected dance moves. Here's her jumps. Connected. Okay, a little hesitation in between. I don't know if they'll consider that connected.
And her focus is where on the beam, she's looking ahead of herself.
Usually out ahead of herself. And that was a full turn. That's your twist of turn. She needs a dance tumbling skill or a tumbling dance. You can do it in either order. Those are connected jumps. She needs a tumbling series. And looks like she's getting ready to do something. Coach Stoop is stepping in. Coach Stoop is not allowed to touch her, but she can be there for support. And that's her dismount, which was a cartwheel into a gainer.
Now that's got to be difficult.
That is difficult, absolutely. Now you're trying to keep a rhythm on the balance beam. And your routine is timed between a minute 10 and a minute 30.
So obviously they have stopwatches, the judges down there.
Yes, they do. And they give you a warning signal at a minute 20, giving you 10 seconds to get off the beam and dismount.
What would that
I'm sorry,
warning
it's a
be?
minute to a minute 30 is the routine.
What would the warning be?
Oh, they will call out the warning. They'll say warning,
Oh.
and you've got 10 seconds to get off and get your dismount counted.
Okay, at the end of the half?
At halftime, Piscataway has a score of 43.60, and East Brunswick has a score of 52.75. So breaking 50 at halftime means East Brunswick's on track to put a score into the hundreds.
You can do that. You can play that game, or do they score higher usually on one event than another in high school gymnastics?
Usually your floor exercise is going to be your higher scores, your bars are your lower scores. So to break 50 after the first two events is indication that you're going to put a score into the 103s, 104s.
Good.
So they're on track to do. And in turn, Piscataway scored a 43, so they're going to be approaching the 90 level, which
Good.
is where they belong. They're a
Right.
team that's come a long way. Piscataway has had some weaker years, but this looks like one of their better years.
That's another thing with gymnastics. If you improve your scores, you may lose the meet, but if you're improving your scores, you've got to walk away with a lot of satisfaction.
Absolutely. And to qualify for the sectional and state tournament, you can be undefeated for the year, never having won a meet. But if you're putting up good scores into the hundreds, you could still qualify for sectionals.
Right.
Now, every time you fall off the balance beam, you're losing 5/10. Now, this first gymnast from Piscataway, this is Julia Penniman. She's already taken one fall, so hopefully she's going to regroup here, gain her composure, see if she can get back. Those are called wolf jumps. You want to try and get that leg up parallel. Okay, that's another fall. So right now she's looking at a full point off her score. Okay, and there's her leap.
Now we're talking low here, but even if they did hear us conversing, that wouldn't distract them because their concentration level is so
yes,
high.
they're concentrating, and a lot of high school meets will even put music on in the background, a low-level music, just so that it isn't so quiet in the gymnasium, and you don't hear yourself breathe or move, your bones creaking.
Now this is where poise really comes in. That she's jumped, and I congratulate her. She's jumped back up there after falling.
That's right, and she's taken a few falls here, so
And
I give her a lot of credit. She's going to finish this routine, and she'll know what she has to do when she gets back in the gym tomorrow. She's got to do routine after routine. And I'm sure their coach is going to say, you cannot leave the gym today until you do a beam routine that's stuck without coming off that balance beam. Okay. All right. Julia has some work to do, but she knows what she wants to do. And we have an East Brunswick girl getting ready. And it should be Vered Sherman, our other senior captain.
For all those gymnastic fans out there, the states this year again will be held at Old Bridge High School. The date escapes me right now, but if you need to know, give me a call in my office, 613.
I believe it's November 3rd.
November 3rd?
Oh, the state meet is November 9th. That's a Friday, I believe.
Okay, that must be teacher convention week?
Yes, it is. They're having it on that Friday at Old Bridge, which is nice and close to here. So.
Well, they got that nice gym. As you recall, remember I tried to beg you to host it here. But
I did it one year.
we had the, we definitely had the GMCs here, but they wanted the states here. But I just didn't know if we had enough space for the.
We actually,
the
my last year coaching, we hosted the sectionals here, and which was nice to have. It's a lot of time and effort goes into hosting a sectional meet.
Right. A lot of work from you guys.
A lot of work. Over at the state and sectional meets, they are now bringing in the spring floors to these meets. So that plays a difference. They really want to have the sectionals and states on a spring floor. So if you don't have one, it's hampered having the meet. But now that the state gymnastics committee has brought in spring floors to set up for the sole purpose of that meet.
Now, there's obviously a big difference in the spring floor and a regular floor. But isn't that like cheating if you got something on the floor that's going to help with your spring?
Well, I don't know if it's cheating. It certainly does help with the, your amplitude and your lift off the floor. But your spring floors they're very costly, and I know a lot of the schools don't have them. And
it's a safety thing too, isn't it?
It is a safety thing, and we used to practice on our floor and then get into these gyms where the spring floors, and all of a sudden they're throwing their tricks higher than I've ever seen, and there's a safety element involved. But they do practice in their own club on these.
Right. Actually, I meant for the pounding on the legs.
Absolutely, the spring floor it does save some wear and tear. Okay, Vered's doing a nice job. That's a round off on the beam, connected into a tuck jump. And those are two cat leaps, they're called. And this is her full turn. Okay, and that's a bounce check, but she checked it and stayed on the beam. I'm going to try and fight for everything and not come off the beam. And it's a round off into a back tuck dismount. Just one little step on the landing.
See, that to me, doing a vault off of that beam is,
Absolutely. The beam is 4 inches wide.
I knew that.
You did know
I was
that.
just going to ask you that.
4 inches is not a lot of room to do these higher skilled. I marvel when you watch the Olympics and the higher level, even the college level, at some of the tricks that they're doing. It looks like they're walking on the floor when they do these.
That's that, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day
Absolutely.
practice. And although there's restrictions, as you know, by the NC2A, I'm sure they're out there on their own doing it and practicing it.
Absolutely.
Lisa, if you were the gymnastics coach again and you had a choice of winning the conference title or the sectional state title, because that's a question they ask these kids in the Star Ledger now, what would you take?
Well, I did win the conference one year, and it was very exciting. But winning a sectional title would have been something I would have cherished more. And we came close a couple years, but I always said that I'd wanted to win even the state title. And one year we finished top 3 in the state, which was our best year, and we were close. And I had wanted to continue to coach until we did win it, because I thought we had some talented years where we could have, but didn't happen.
See, I think like winning in your backyard, in your neighborhood, winning the conference.
It's more important.
No, I don't mean it more important. It's more exciting, I think. I could be wrong.
Exciting.
For the girls or guys in the Star Ledger, they'll ask them questions about their favorite athlete, this or that, and they'll say, would you rather win the state or a conference title? And it's interesting on some of their comments.
I'm sure. This is Heather Ballesteros from Piscataway. Looks like she suffered a knee injury, so it's nice to see her back up on the balance beam.
It's interesting, too, in gymnastics, unlike a lot of sports, you can't coach at this point.
No, it's everything you've done up to this point, everything you've done in practices. Okay.
If you think about it, in any other sport, you call it timeout. Even if they're running the mile, you can encourage them, relax your arms, open your pace.
Sure, you make a substitution, you change the play, but here it's the training that's gone on before that really counts. And hopefully you've trained them well, you've given them the confidence and the poise that they can get out there and perform. That was a nice routine from Heather.
I look over in our audience because I'm trying to figure out which sport is like gymnastics where the coach can't get involved. And I see our field hockey team over there. The coach definitely is involved. I see Alina, our tennis champion, over there.
Yeah.
A lot of coaching in there. We see the football kids over there. Could be gymnastics the only sport where the coach
has no control.
Even in wrestling, the coach is constantly yelling or encouraging or whatever. But in gymnastics, it's complete silence.
It's complete silence. And as I said, it's everything you've done up to that point.
Well, that all goes back to the poise. And, there's a lot to be said, like how much teaching can go on during the game. How can you change, make a correction during the game to adjust somebody's shot or their batting stance to be successful. So all those coaches that are out there timeout and screaming and hollering, it made to be not do any good anyway.
No, I don't think it does.
There's some coaches like Johnny Wood, and he kind of like sat back down there. Our old-time wrestling coach, Jay Doyle, who the old-timers in East Brunswick know, he used to just prepare his kids in practice and just sit and watch them wrestling, and they did the best they could.
Wow. Okay, this is Lynn Kersner on the beam. that's a wolf jump, 2 wolf jumps connected. When you're doing your jumps in the balance beam, the judges are looking for height off the balance beam. Okay, Lynn's showing a lot of confidence on the balance beam here. Setting up for, looks like a back walkover. And 2 in a row, connected, tumbling. And her split leap. To her full turn.
Now, she seems like to have been up there a long time, or am I just imagining
Yeah,
that?
you're imagining. It does seem like a long time when you're up there, though. And those are cat leaps into a cartwheel. And she should be getting ready to dismount. And it's a Brandy with a full twist, and that's a nice routine.
Yeah, there's your banner over there in the corner, Lisa.
Oh, they have it up there.
I see it up there. We should put your little smiley face next to it up there. What
We
year
have
was that, Lisa?
The year we won the GMC?
89? I can't remember.
90. 90, my first year coaching.
I can't.
And there, go, if you're panning it, go to the girls volleyball one. We won
Oh, yeah,
there.
there's an asterisk up there next to yours when you were #1 in the state.
That's right.
It's it says F, and everyone thinks it stands for Frank.
It should say F for spring, or S for spring
Right.
or fall season.
Right. And the S was you for the spring. That was
Oh.
what, like your second year when we won it all?
No, our second year, we had an undefeated season in our second year, and then we won it in our 5th season. We won the spring state title.
You coached 5 years?
I coached 5 years volleyball.
You did not.
I did too. Don't tell me. You asked my husband.
You're making things up.
I know.
Wow, that went quick.
Yes, I know.
That
Scott-
was exciting up there, huh?
Yeah, that was. I enjoyed working with Scarano and starting volleyball and watching it flourish.
Right. Well, you gave it a great jump start, I'll
Oh,
tell you
thank
that.
you.
Remember the, let's get back to
Okay, this
gymnastics.
is Melanie Melanie Duziak from Piscataway.
Lisa, you've been at most of the gyms in the county. Do most of them have a situation like we do where there's a room to practice and then you move the equipment to compete? Or
Well-
are some of them left up all year round in one place and they compete and practice there?
Well, most of the Group 4 schools are big enough where they have a gymnastics gym set up where they don't have to tear down and set up every day, which really puts a strain on your program and on your kids if you have to set up every day.
And I'm sure the equipment too, right?
I know I'm the equipment, but it's your smaller schools where there's only limited gym space available for your phys ed classes have to set up every day, and that was a nice routine for Melanie.
Yeah, well, you know, next year, well, you helped design that down there with the
Yes.
gymnastics. The girls are going to be they're real excited right now about it being set up all year for them. We'll have our meets down there,
Yeah,
and it'll be able to call it their home. You know,
it's going to be nice. It's a beautiful gymnasium. I encourage everyone to come out and see it. I don't know what type of basketball we're going to be hosting there in the winter. Any games or
yeah, we're going to
just
run some sub-varsity
Good.
there. We
It's
can run
beautiful.
practices there. As a matter of fact, when parents come here for back-to-school night, we should probably take them on a quick tour of that with
Absolutely.
phys ed
And when is
staff.
back to school night? Next Thursday.
That's right.
October 18th, I believe. It'd be nice to have as many parents as they can come and see our new gymnasium.
Right. The new
them a
dance
tour.
room, I don't know if it'll be ready, but the other one, I think the bleacher's just about finished. The Bear logo and Go Bears is all finished.
Yeah, it looks outstanding. It's
We-
a real nice addition. The whole addition to the school. It's beautiful.
We just haven't put the Scarano Gymnasium name on it
Oh,
yet.
I didn't see my banner up yet.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it should be named the John D. Emery
Well,
Gymnasium.
there's thoughts for that.
That'd be nice.
A lot of thoughts.
That'd be nice. I'd like to. John Emery should be honored.
I see what you're saying about how it has slowed down.
Yeah, it does, unfortunately.
Mm.
That's where we tend to lose fans. And this is Elise Conquista from East Brunswick. Nice wolf jump to a jump half turn. And that's called a switch leg leap into another wolf. And it's a round off. In gymnastics, so much of appearance is important. If you look at Elise, she's presenting a nice, clean look. Her hair is neat. So important to have the hair tied back. And it's a back handspring.
I thought the same thing watching her up there. But my question is, why should that be?
Well, the judges don't want any type of distraction. They don't want to see anything hindering the gymnast. No hair in the face. They don't want to see any of the brief or underwear coming out. That's a deduction. They want to just be able to see the gymnast doing her skills. And hair hanging can be a deduction. Sometimes. Oh
boy, she getting a lot of hugs.
She did. That was a nice routine.
What's your prediction?
For the score?
9-2.
No, not in the 9s. Close. In the 8s. In the 8s. She needs to do a little higher level of skill.
I'm a liberal scorer.
That's
I've always been on. And it's amazing how the gymnastic family, they all know when someone hits it or sticks it, as you said, or does a great routine, and they appreciate that, you know, be it an opponent or your own team.
Absolutely. That was a great routine from her. East Brunswick has a nice future ahead of them. They have, I think they have 18 girls on the team here this year. That's great to see it. I mean, we had a few lean years there where we were pulling bodies out of the bleachers.
I hope they came out for gymnastics and not for our male manager. I'm not sure.
That's right. Kevin Hendricks is doing an outstanding job as our manager.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's a great help.
He really is.
He comes in the office and says, we need this or we need that, or
he's terrific.
Sometimes I think thinks he's the coach.
This is Diana Wu from Piscataway. It's a handstand connected into a wolf jump, 2 wolf jumps. She came off the balance beam. That's a 5-10 deduction.
As the judges are writing down all their scores, does anyone check them? I mean, maybe their addition is wrong, or?
Yeah, actually, the score sheets are left with the home coach, so they can be looked at if they feel that there is a mistake. They can look at them
just on
right
the
away.
addition.
On the addition, or on if they feel that they have missed a certain skill. Then you can look at the score sheet and see if the skill is written there. And nice routine. Okay, she came off the beam once, but
if it wasn't listed, then the judge could say that it was never performed.
True, but then usually your coach and gymnast will argue that I did do it.
Right.
But changes are rare, but they do happen.
What do you think we need to do to promote the sport of gymnastics more, especially the media? The media gives them a little East Brunswick 101 and ex-high school 98. What could I do, and kids or coaches and parents, to give it the due recognition that it so deserves?
Well, you know, getting out into the local newspapers, having something like this televised really helps. When I was coaching, the Star Ledger took no gymnastics scores throughout the regular season. something that we fought for year after year because these girls needed to be recognized throughout the state. And they only started covering when it came down to sectional and state meet, which was very frustrating because these gymnasts were receiving no exposure. Then, as of a few years ago, the Star Ledger started to carry it as a sport. And they're getting so much more exposure, even though it doesn't seem like a lot. They're in the Star Ledger, which is our state newspaper that most people read, and it's helped.
Yeah, they've got its own column.
Yes.
And they have their top 20, I believe,
Right.
and then the athlete of the week.
Of
and
the,
then
right, which they've only done that in the last couple of years.
Right.
This is Diana Coster on the balance beam with the switch leg leap. But I always encourage the teams to go down to the elementary school, put on a little exhibition at the elementary school, get the little kids involved to come out and say, you know, Mom, let's go to a gymnastics meet, and that can help. I've always had thoughts of putting on a dance and gymnastics show throughout, you know, one night, a fundraising type show to promote. The dance team can get involved too. We have a high school dance team and the gymnastics team, and that's a great way to get the community involved in gymnastics and to get their names out there. Okay, Diana's moving very well. That was a back handspring.
I missed that last score. Was I right, or are you?
I didn't see it, but we'll check that out.
This is going to be an 8-9.
And she's getting set up for her dismount. Round off with a full twist. And a little direction problem. She came off to the side a little bit, but it was a nice routine.
Is that a deduction too?
Yes,
Your
right.
angle off the bar?
Direction off the end of the beam.
Beam, not bar.
Oh, the last score. What was your guess, Mr. Knight?
6.85.
Oh, yeah. I think you said somewhere in the nines, and it was a 6.85.
That was my second
That's
guess.
why you're the athletic director.
When you were coaching, I think, remember we had, who was it, Nadia Kamenichi, or who was that went down to Frost School?
Olga Corbett.
Oh,
Olga Corbett came here. Her son, I never forget him, his name is Richard. He was living in East Brunswick with an exchange family, with a family in East Brunswick, and going to Frost School. And Olga Corbett, for those who don't know, was just one of the gymnasts in the history of gymnastics who really put her name in gymnastics and made it what it is today.
Right.
So many little girls were gymnasts because of seeing Olga Corbett back in 1972. And Olga came to Frost School and put on a little exhibition.
Remember,
very exciting to see.
I tried to make you get the autograph from me, and you refused to do it.
I think I did get it.
Yeah, you probably kept it.
Okay, this gymnast.
That was a unique entry.
Yeah, it really was. It's a handstand press. Okay, let's see how she's doing. It's connected leaps. Okay, this is Heather Sari, which I believe that we had misspoken before, that we had said Heather was up already, but this is Heather. I apologize for that. We have an incorrect lineup coming from Piscataway.
If your event is the floor, what's going through your mind as you're waiting? I mean, do you just not start getting focused till you're 10 minutes away, or?
As you're approaching the event, as you're warming up on the sideline, you really start doing your visualizations. You go through your passes, you go through your dance. You try and visualize doing the best routine that you can out there.
Right, then help me out with this. This meet, let's say it started at 5 o'clock, like it was, right?
Right.
And I warmed up at 4:30. Now I'm going to go compete on the bar, the beam here, or the Florex. and I've been sitting
You've been sitting
for 35
right.
minutes.
Well,
I don't get
we
it.
encourage people on the sidelines to warm a little bit. It's called a touch warm up, but that's always been a problem at the bigger meets, your sectional and state meets, where you can warm up and then not perform on that event for 3 hours.
Right.
That's why they try and have a little sub gym area where the gymnast can go in, not to warm up a little, not to get cold, to stretch, to touch a piece of apparatus. Your higher level skill meets will do what they call a one-touch warm-up, where right now, as they're getting ready, they're moving on to the floor exercise. A one-touch would be they'll give you 1 minute for every gymnast to get out there and do one pass or two passes, however many that everyone can get in 1 minute.
Not at the same time, obviously.
No, it'd be, you'd alternate your
Right.
passes, but
Well, why couldn't they, while the girls were on the balance beam there, why couldn't they be warming up? That's a distraction.
it's a distraction. It's a distraction. They don't encourage that. It's been done if, for example, a team is late getting to a school and they want to start the meet.
Right.
They'll say, okay, we're going to perform on the vault, well, you go warm up on the bars. And that's been done.
What if
But they discourage that.
What if we put up like a little type curtain, like and that you would see in the nurse's office? You ever see anything like that?
I've never seen anything
No.
like that in a gym. Okay, they are getting ready for the floor exercise, our last event, and we will get a score after 3 events in a few minutes. And this is, again, usually the most exciting event with the music and the exciting tumbling.
East Brunswick's got 75.1.
Is that your guess?
No, I figured it out.
You did not.
I think they're ready to go.
Okay, it looks like the first Piscataway gymnast, which is Jessica Perozic. And it looks like they're only putting 3 girls into the floor exercise. So they're down in their lineup. Your floor exercise needs to be between 1 minute and 1:30, and you are deducted if you go over time.
Is there any plus or minus points if you're?
Yes, if you're under or over, you are deducted.
But if you're in between or if you're close, nothing.
Nothing, right. You just need to be over the minute. Okay, this is, as I said, Jessica waiting for her music to start, and they need to
That's another nightmare for the coach, athlete, and athletic director.
There's nothing more stressful than waiting for music to start.
Yeah, it's like not having a bus show up,
Yeah,
Lisa, let me tell you. Or a referee, for that matter. Or Jimmy
Yeah, I was
Allender.
just going to say, Jimmy, where are you?
Sorry, Jim.
No.
You know we love you.
You've done a wonderful job in his absence.
You've made gymnastics very clear.
Oh, I'm glad.
You should teach it.
Oh,
That's right, you have.
Too many years.
Your
Jessica's
girls are in
getting ready.
gymnastics, I hear.
My little ones, yes, I have 2 little girls, and they both enjoy it. It's at a low level right now. I'm giving them the exposure to it, and if they choose to take it further, that's going to be their choice. But went through the mommy and me classes in the gymnastics, and now they're doing it on their own. And I get to sit on the sideline and be a mom.
Let me ask a question as she's performing. Are you responsible for bringing your own music box?
You use the box provided by the home school. You bring your own tapes. Okay, it's Jessica's first tumbling pass, round of back tuck into a backward roll. To have 3 tumbling passes, at least 3 tumbling passes.
3 tumbling, you said?
3 tumbling passes.
Isn't there a balance part of this? You got to hold a.
Usually, you have to show flexibility. You need a salto or an aerial. You need 3 tumbling passes. The tumbling passes have to go in 2 of the 3 directions, so you can't just do tumbling passes all going the same way. One of your last tumbling pass has to have what they call a superior tumbling skill, a higher level skill, or else you're deducted there. Your dance moves that you're doing, you have to have a jump and leap. That's at least a superior. You have to have a dance series of 3 connected dance moves. And you have to have 1 dance tumbling connection or tumbling dance
But
connection.
you don't have to hold like a handstand, or is that boys?
That's the boys,
Yeah.
yeah. You know,
See that?
I miss watching the boys gymnastics in the state. How many years has it been since they've had in the state? Couple now they haven't.
Let me see. I'm AD 12. I would think they haven't had it for 9 years.
For
or
9
so.
years? Yeah. I
That-
think East Brunswick must hold the record for state titles, so don't they?
Oh,
Don Wieters,
absolutely.
16
Right.
years that they were
Yep.
state boys gymnastics champions.
Yep. I mean, and that's number 1.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's come close to that in
That's
any.
not even a sectional.
No.
Didn't I tell you 77?
You were good. East Brunswick after 3, 77.35. Piscataway 64.25. And the routines on the floor must have musical accompaniment. Okay, that is a requirement. So if your routine breaks, if the music breaks in the middle, that is a major deduction.
Well, what if it's the tape recorder's fault?
You have to have music. That's the requirement.
I would-
So they hopefully someone else could provide a cassette.
Did you bring your own when you
I
were
always brought
coaching?
my own, just in case.
Your own cassette.
Always.
I wouldn't rely on anyone
Me
else's.
either. Okay, this is Jody Shaw. First time we've seen her today.
You know
Doing
whose
her
daughter?
first pass.
You know whose daughter that is?
No, I
right?
don't. Tell me.
Oh, she's a the official, Meredith.
Oh, I didn't realize that. How nice. Meredith's been official for many years.
She also officiates swimming for us.
Oh, how great. And here's the second pass. Front handspring step out, round of back handspring. Jody's got great expression out there. Confident, great dance moves, getting the crowd involved.
How important is a smile, Coach?
Very important. Head up and smile. Look like you're enjoying it out there. Take a deep breath at the corner. She sets up for her third pass. Round of 2 back handsprings. Now, her last pass, she didn't end on a superior skill, so that'll be a slight deduction. Those jumps she needs to try and get to hip level. Excellent routine from Jody. Nice to see her out there. Her mom has trained her well.
Well, any of these kids, elementary school, when you were teaching elementary?
No, I had left to come up to the high school before any of the girls on this team.
Well, she's getting a lot of hugs,
She
too.
is. She should be happy with that routine.
How important is the music? I mean, if you got
Well,
a snappy type music.
Absolutely. You want to try and get the crowd involved, but you also have to pick music that reflects your skill and your dance level. A very dramatic and classical music might not be the right music for a certain
Right.
girl who really can't carry that type of performance off. So you want to try and pick music that you like, that fits your style, and that you're going to get out there and perform and sell. I always used to say as a coach, get out there and sell it. You know.
Right. Now, did the kids come to you with, hey, this is the music I like, or do you say, you know, you should probably use this music, or is it a
Well,
combination?
It's a combination where I have vetoed a few that
really?
I really didn't think was appropriate, and usually they come to you and with a couple choices, and you listen to and see
Right.
what they like best. But your club gymnasts will come to you with routines that have been choreographed in these private clubs, and
Right.
making the high school coach's
Now-
job much easier.
No, that poor girl had been sitting out there the whole time. Why couldn't they say, go back, get your composure?
Yes,
and
they
start
could have
over?
said that.
Oh.
Yeah, they could have. Okay, this is Piscataway's second girl, Heather Siri. first pass. And it's a round off back handspring, back tuck. Here's her second tumbling pass. Front handspring step out, round of back handspring step out. Okay, that's called a Shushanova.
Is most of the music instrumental, or?
Yes, it can be no words, no vocal.
Oh, you can't have any?
No, no words, no vocals. That's a deduction if any vocal were to be on it. And the music also has to have a change, so you can't just have one type of sound. It has to then slow down or change and speed up. So you have to have at least one change in the music.
Boy, I'm getting an education here.
See, all these years, you didn't know what goes into the sport.
Well, I knew about the dedication and
That's
everything, and that.
Yeah, I had
That's
some
important.
nice years.
But boy, am I really impressed and happy with the way our kids have showed poise and character and sportsmanship tonight. And I congratulate them and their parents and, of course, Coach Stu.
Absolutely.
And before it gets too late, I want to thank you for donating your time and helping our student athletes out. And that's why
my pleasure.
That's why East Brunswick's pretty good. We got people like you donating your time to help out the student athletes. And not often enough are people like you thanked from the parents and their kids. So if anyone's out there in the gymnastics team watching this, when you see Coach Scarano, you make sure you thank her, especially when she was helped setting up the equipment at 2:30.
My pleasure. It was nice to see a home meet. I was happy to get to see the girls. And they look great. And they are wonderful sports. I've always been impressed with East Brunswick sportsmanship.
I like when they yell out this encouragement. I don't know if they can hear it on the TV, but you can hear the kids screaming out encouragement to whoever's up there. It's got to relax the kid.
It
and
does,
make them
especially
feel good.
before each tumbling pass. They try and encourage them. This is Seema Singh, our senior captain, performing on the floor exercise. Okay, looks like we have a little technical problem. Hopefully they'll get that straightened out. It's nerve-wracking to be out there waiting. And her first pass. Round of back handspring. That was a layout with a half. Second pass. Round up back handspring, back tuck. East Brunswick looks to be well conditioned. Doesn't look like as if any of the gymnasts are getting tired in their passes, in their routines. Coach Renee Stoop is doing a great job with them this year. Third pass. Front handspring step out, round up back handspring, 2 back handsprings. Nice routine from Seema. Mr. Knopp, I had the opportunity to take a tour of our new athletic training facility.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Mr. Hassler, our athletic
Oh.
trainer, is so excited.
Well, congratulations to everyone who helped push that through and
Oh, it's
supported.
beautiful.
Oh, he's real excited.
He is excited. It's such a great asset to our athletic department, our sports teams. Our student trainers do such a wonderful job here, and to have that beautiful new room is great.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Mr. Hostler, he wants to rename it the Hostler Hilton or the Hostler Hotel.
It's great, though.
Yep, he deserves it.
He
He's
does
one
deserve
of the
it.
best.
He is the best, and he is here second to you with hours put in here into East Brunswick program.
Lisa, thank you for that. Lisa, why not, if I'm a vaulter, why not just concentrate on the vault and just do the vault and be the best vaulter in the state and the nation?
There's some thought to that, but most of your gymnasts want all-around gymnasts. You want the best in all four. But in the college, they will specialize more.
Because if I am good and I spent 4 hours just on the vault rather than an hour on the beam and an hour on the bars and an hour on the floor, I've got to get better.
Yeah, but you're also going to take a wear and tear. Vaulting, for example, really takes a tear on your shins and your legs. So you would never want to concentrate that much on that event just because of your body.
Now the Nadias and the Olgas and
they were all around gymnasts. They were, absolutely. And this is Diana Wu from Piscataway. I believe it's going to be their last performer from Piscataway tonight.
We have 2 more then?
We will have 3 more.
We have Lynn, Elisa, and Diane.
Right. And our first pass is around a backhand, 2 back handsprings to a layout. Piscataway's program has come a long way. It wasn't long ago where they were still competing on a wrestling mat.
I remember you telling me that.
Yes, that was difficult to travel there and have to perform on it. So it's nice that I know that they've established a new mat there and are happy about that. And 2 back handsprings. It's difficult tumbling on a wrestling mat, to say the least. Getting ready for her last pass. Round of back handspring, back tuck. And she just went a little over in the music. Just ended right at the end there. There shouldn't be a deduction for that.
Before Lynn gets up, Lise, the state says that you've got to have 6 practices before you compete in a scrimmage. And tennis is the only sport that allows you 6 practices, then you can compete in a game. Why not gymnastics? Because these kids are doing it all year round too.
Oh, why not count?
Instead of going like the 21 days like football, baseball, basketball, why not just the 6 days and then have a competition? Because aren't 99.9% doing it all year round?
Absolutely. The higher skilled are. It's a good thought. You know, I don't know where the state stands on that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because then the kids, you wouldn't have to go 2 a week. You can go 1 a week. I mean, 2 events. 2 competitions.
2 competitions.
A week. And then maybe there could be a big competition on a weekend one
Sure,
time.
sure.
Because right now our schedule is condensed to the point where we just about have to go 2 a week.
2 a week to get meets in.
As a matter of fact, because of the tragedy we had, we will not make up the Westfield meet.
The Westfield meet. Yeah, which would have been nice because I think
they're number 1.
They're number 1 in the state, and it would have been a great meet for them to have. But I don't think you can just fit it into the schedules.
Coach thought we could beat them. She really thought we could beat them.
They're a good team. And
well, we were just, was it a 1/10 of a point last year behind them?
Behind
or just
them, yeah. That would have been a nice meet. It's a shame that you won't have it this year. Okay, this is Lynn Kersner. who is a junior and who is competing all around. And her first pass. Getting a lot of encouragement. Round up back handspring, full twist. Nicely done. This is great music for her. That was a handstand pirouette. And here's our change of music.
Do they take dance classes too?
Yes, usually. In the clubs, they have dance training.
Oh. Now that's the change of music.
Yes.
See that, David? David didn't think I could recognize that. Dave Clark 5 and the Beatles, we go way back.
Yeah, that's a nice pass from Lynn. And her third and final pass, round up back handspring, 2 back handsprings and a back tuck. And ending right at the music. Ran a little late.
For the young gymnasts out there, nice job, Lynn. For the young gymnast coach, there's a lot of, obviously, leg muscles and endurance involved in the floor racks. Weight training or jumping and lifting?
Oh,
or running?
Absolutely. All of it should be involved. But where it comes when you're in season, you just really run out of time to get it all
Right.
in. But, it's good to do.
Yeah. Boy, that sitting and waiting has got to be nerve-wracking. You know, I know in basketball, any other sport, the coach would be complaining that they're trying to freeze my athlete. My athlete wants to compete. And it's, I just feel bad. I'm going to institute a proposal that they let the girls 30-second relaxation where they can just get their mind back into it.
Great. This is Elise Congista. And a first pass, round up back handspring with a full twist.
She got some height important.
She did get height. She had speed going into it.
Height important.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the skill, but how in the points?
Oh, absolutely. You want to have amplitude off of the mat. Okay, getting ready for a second pass. Nice patriotic song she's got up there. And that is a layout. Her third pass. Front handspring step out, round off, back tuck. Now if you step out of bounds at all, I don't know if you know this, Mr. Knopp, but there's a deduction if you go out off of the mat.
And how about if you're not directly into that corner?
Absolutely. You want to take your direction corner to corner. So that would be a direction problem if she was going either to the right or left. Great routine from Elise.
I mean, it's got to be taxing. I mean, they're all coming off huffing and puffing because that's a good minute and a half of
it's of solid work.
exercise, right?
Yep. And that's why one of the training techniques on the floor is to do what they call back-to-back floor routines. In practice, right now, Elise would jump back up and start another routine.
Well, that makes
and
sense.
it's tiring and you're putting your body through some stress, but it builds the endurance.
Yeah, just like in running, you've got to go beyond if you're
Right.
a miler, you run the couple miles. Now, do you know what they have not given you what events or what skills they're all doing? You're just doing this ad lib as they
Yes,
perform.
as they're doing it, right.
Does anyone have to know what they're doing ahead of time?
The only on the vault, you have to tell the judge what the vault is going to be, because they need to score it according to what the vault is worth.
Right.
So they want to know ahead of time, I'm going to be looking at a handspring, it's worth 8.8, and then I deduct from there. So that's the only time that you tell what you're going to perform. And this is Diana Coster, our last competitor for the evening.
Every eye in the place is on her.
Absolutely.
In the mood,
In the mood.
right?
Glenn Miller, right?
I know my music.
There you go. And round up back hands, 2 back handsprings with a fall. Getting ready for a second pass. Front hamstring step out, round off, back tuck, handspring back tuck. Getting ready for a third pass. Round up back handspring and ends on a full. This is going to be a very high scoring routine. Her last pass was a superior, so this is going to score well. And great routine.
It's got to be rewarding as a parent. I see Diana's father over there watching them perform and do so well. I mean, it's just got to be a great feeling, especially in that individual sport, as we're talking about, like wrestling. If your hand is raised, or the gymnast does an outstanding routine.
Yeah, and I'm
Well-
sure they're all proud of all the parents here. We had a nice crowd. It was really nice to see them come and watch their girls.
So what do you think? We got this one?
We have this one without question.
Well,
And,
I know Dave and Channel TV, EBTV, they don't want commercials, but I want to encourage everyone to come on out to our events. If you look in the newspaper, you'll see that all our teams are rated very high in the state and in the county. We're having one of our best fall seasons ever. If you need to know when we're playing or where we're playing, please give us a call. I know this Saturday there's a big field hockey game at 2 o'clock. We got a big volleyball game at 2:30.
great,
And we also have a girls soccer game against Piscataway home at 2 o'clock.
very nice.
And hopefully this will be aired before then, and they can come up and
That'd be great.
watch the Bears.
Yeah, sure. Rather than stay home and watch the Yankees, come out and watch the Bears. You're
Well,
not going to be watching any Yankee games this weekend, are you?
I may be listening, Lise. I may be listening.
Maybe 1 or 2 innings.
Well, it's nerve-wracking.
It is. I
It's like
agree.
watching the Bears. There's some games we're out competing. I don't want to be there. Wrestling does it to me. I drive
Yeah.
Emery nuts. You know, Mr. Emery, when we're watching it together.
I know. I do
Well,
enjoy it.
I guess we could pretty much think that we're going to have this wrapped up.
Yeah,
And
I
I
would
guess
just like to get a final score for you, but I think we're going to hear it.
This concludes today's gymnastics meet. The final score is East Brunswick 103.875, Piscataway 85.45.
Okay, we have the final scores, and I was right on the money. Didn't I say 103?
You're
I
good.
sure did. East Brunswick's score was 103.875, and Piscataway scored an 85.45. So East Brunswick is right where they need to be. They're scoring in the 103s. They had some difficulty. They had some clean routines. They didn't come off the balance beam at all, so that was a great balance beam set today. And yeah, they can push that score up into the 105s you know, they're going to contend for the sectional title,
So now-
GMC title.
So now coach is going to tell them, guys, you know, congratulations, we did a great job, and we need to compete with the Westfields or state championships. What we got to do is we got to get that up to a
We got to get that
105.
up. We have to throw all our full difficulty. We have to be cleaner on the bars. You have to point every toe. You have to dot every I and get that score into the 105s, because the state title is going to be won, you know, from
Right.
105 up. That's usually your score.
Okay, well, I think that's kind of wraps
That's a
it
wrap.
up. So again, Lisa Scarano, thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure working with you. Thank you for stepping in.
TV, EBTV, thank you on behalf of the athletes and coaches. We appreciate everything you've done, and thank you for watching, and have a good night.
Thank you.